So onto the DD1 and DD2 now. Very similar process here, except in this case, we do have some wiring that we need to plug in as opposed to just a USB-C connection. So again, we're gonna just loosen off the collar here. Now they don't include a replacement collar in this case. They only include the Allen key, and that is it. We're gonna loosen these off. They are pretty tight from factory, so don't be scared. Just remember again, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. That is really tight. I have pulled these apart before, but I haven't pulled this particular base apart. So this is factory tightness that we're dealing with right now. I'm just gonna get it to the point where it's a little bit looser, then I'm gonna spin around and do this side as well. This is probably gonna be super tight too. So, there we go, that wasn't so bad. There we go, okay, that's nice and loose now. So, what we're gonna do, and you need to be really careful with this next step because you don't wanna lose the wiring up in the back of the motor shaft. That will be a very bad day for you. So we're gonna carefully slide this guy out and we're gonna unravel the wires like so. And you'll see inside the shaft here, we've got two connections. We've got a long one and a short one. Now originally with the QR1, you can see they're actually color coded as well. With the QR2, it's rainbow, but you can see one is long and one is short. We're just gonna match that up. So we're gonna unplug each connection, and it's as simple as just grabbing the outside here, pushing on the little tab, and unplugging. And same deal with this guy here. You can see it is very tight in here, so it is a little bit of a risk of losing the connection inside the motor. But I'm gonna actually just stay holding on to that one for now. And then we're gonna go long into short, like so, plug it in, click it in position, and then short into long again, like so. So it is important to note here that it is possible to plug these into the wrong connections. They are both the same physical connection, so just pay attention to which one's long and which one's short and make sure you match those up. So we're just gonna coil that up, tuck it back into the motor. Remembering again, of course, if you've seen our DD1 and DD2 teardown videos, there is actually an inductive coupling system and optical transceiver for data. So these wires aren't just sort of spinning up and winding up inside the motor, although it does kind of look like that when you pull it apart, which does freak some people out. So we're just gonna slide that back in there gently, like so. Slide the shaft into the assembly as well, like so. We're gonna butt it right up against here. So you can see we don't wanna have any gap. We're just gonna push it all the way in like that. So then with the collar, exactly like what we did with the GT, DD Pro and CSL DD, we're gonna line these notches up on either side, or these halves up on either side, so they align with the grooves in the stem here. We're gonna slide that all the way forward. Now the instructions are very clear that they want you to have this all the way forward and not pushed all the way back. We don't want it grinding up against the metal here, and we also don't want it blocking the intake. You can actually see that foam material in there. The fan in the back of the unit actually draws air through. So if we block that off, we're gonna restrict the ventilation and we could actually overheat and damage our motor. So we got that all aligned, all correctly like so. That is all fine. And then we're gonna do exactly like what we did last time. We're gonna make sure we've got an even gap on both sides, and we're gonna just go half a turn on either side until it's tightened up to the spec, which in this case is actually 10 Newton meters, unlike the 8 that we had with the CSL DD and GT DD Pro. So again, they do only include, unfortunately, a normal Allen key, so we will be making use of our little torque wrench again to make sure that we get this right. I'll see if I can get this a little bit more accurate this time. We'll see if we can get close, having experienced it the last time. So I'm just gonna go 3/4 of a turn on this side. I'm going to flip it over, and then I'll go 3/4 of a turn on this one as well. Same deal again. We don't have to be quite so careful this time because it is a metal sleeve that we're using rather than that carbon-based material that they use on the GT DD Pro and CSL DD. So we'll tighten that down. I think that feels about right. Let's see how close my guess was. Grab our torque wrench here and starting to move. Yep, that's about 10 Newtons. I could just start to feel it move there as we got to 10. So I guessed that pretty accurately. Proud of myself. There we go. And yeah, just starting to move there at 10 Newtons. So we are all good. The other thing you will need to remember with the DD1 and DD2 is you will need to recalibrate your wheel center back on your sim rig when you get up and running, because it is just an arbitrary position that you end up in when you're securing this all down, as opposed to the CSL DD and GT DD Pro, which is keyed. So you're either going to be correct or inverted by 180 degrees when you get back up and running.